May God's peace and blessings be upon us all. The time has come for the people of God to speak to the people of God, God's holy word, a biblical perspective on the times and the events of today. And on today's topic, I decided for us to delve into the culture a little bit so that we can see the true evil that men do in our society. Well, we can see the fact that we have a time that the Bible speaks of when men will call evil good and good evil. So I want us to think about that and ponder those things as we go through our daily walk. Let us talk about a situation that has been going on in the news because it is quite evident that in the nation right now we have a pandemic going on. Pandemic of sorts. And what I mean by that is of sorts of um, rappers, entertainers who are killing each other. Um, Young black males mainly, who are rappers, who are continually attempting to live their lyrics more than anything. Or if they find themselves finding success, then they often still find themselves in the same situations that they came up in, not being aware of the danger of going back to the area that you came from, of going back to the things that you used to do, of going back to the friends that you used to hang out with, because those things usually land you back doing the things that you were doing before that were more than likely illegal things, and just by God's grace, you did not get caught, arrested, murdered, killed, or whatever the situation may be. Uh, there are times where we reach a moment in our lives where we realize that we have been blessed and that God's grace has truly brought us through many of our situations. Um, and so, on today's topic, I would like to discuss a guy who is the one the number one tragedy scammer. And what I mean by that is this boy ain't never seen a tragedy that he could not manipulate or attempt to manipulate and find a way to get paid on. And so, especially because they had a murder last week for a rapper named Lil Ronnie that happened in Texas. And so, immediately when I saw that happen in Texas, I said, "Oh, Texas." I said, "Uh-oh, that boy Charleston White, he gonna find a way to get paid off of that." Because anytime there's a tragedy involving rappers, anytime there's a tragedy involving gang violence, anytime there's a tragedy involving children, anytime there's a tragedy where there are weeping moms of the victims, Charleston White is on the scene, ready to get paid, make a whole bunch of noise, bring a whole bunch of lights, bring a lot of attention, find a way to take the attention off of the victims, put the attention on him, get paid, dump the victims, and take off with the money. That is his usual pattern because he has never met a tragedy that he did not love. He has never met a tragedy that he did not attempt to monopolize. Well, monetize. So let us talk about Charleston White because as soon as I saw this situation occur, I said he's going to find a way to get paid off of this. And make no mistake about it, let us also put our prayers out to that family because regardless to what the situation was with the rapper who was murdered, that's still somebody's kid, that's still somebody's family, someone is still grieving over that man. And more importantly than that, let us not forget the 5-year-old child who was killed, who really had nothing to do with the situation except for this was her dad, and he perhaps had her in the wrong place at the wrong time in a very bad situation, which many times it speaks to us as parents that sometimes we have to realize, for those who have been on the alternate side of the street, let us say it that way. For some of those of us who have been on the alternate side of the street, we realize that there are dangers that come along with this game. We realize that there are dangers that come along with this game that can reach out and further touch family members, children, grandmothers, wives, siblings, all of those things. Which is why if you are in that game, the majority of the time, the ones who are wise that are in that game, they keep that game and their family and the people that they love totally separate from that situation because tragedy, as we see from what happened to Lil Ronnie, tragedy can strike in a moment's time without any notice. And essentially, what happens is a 5-year old kid ends up getting killed because of something that she had no control and no control over and no business being involved in. And so that is, sometimes the nature of the beast, which is also the nature of the game. And so when it comes down to Charleston White, he will find a way to get paid off of it because initially when I saw the interview, I said, ooh, Charleston White gonna go hard, right? And he did. He went out there, he went in on the city of Fort Worth, talked about the police department, all of those things. Um, and I thought for a second, I said, yeah, he's gonna get in there, he's gonna make a whole lot of noise, make the police do something, make them, change some laws, get in there and bring some attention to what's going on with the crime in that area and things of that nature. And he's gonna be about going in there making a change. And that's what happened initially. But as soon as Charleston White got mad, or as soon as Charleston White figured out he wasn't going to be able to make the money he wanted to make off of this particular tragedy, Charleston White immediately flips the script. And what do I mean by that? Let me pause for a second here to let you know. Please like, share, and subscribe because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. This is God's holy word. This is the new and the true media where I will always tell you the truth. So once I realized that Charleston White was not going to be able to capitalize off of this tragedy the way that he wanted to, I saw Charleston White get upset. And when he got upset, the thing about anger, right? There's a saying that says that angry people and drunk people will always tell you the truth because they have a free tongue. The restraints are off. Charleston White got angered. He said, screw the kid, screw the rapper. He has his right to his own personal opinion about Screw the Rapper. But I did find myself a little bothered by the point where Charleston White says, screw the kid, screw the dead baby. Because it says to us as a whole, what type of man are you supporting? To the followers of Charleston White, what type of man are you supporting who would essentially celebrate the murder of an innocent 5-year-old child? What type of man are you celebrating? You see, what has happened to Charleston White is that who he has always been is truly right now front and center for us all to see. All of those people that he said that he hated when he first came out, all of the lawbreakers, all of the criminals, all of the gangbangers, all of the drug movers, all of the people that he talked about in such a negative light, all the people he was calling in, telling on, trying to get them locked up, calling their probation officers and all of that stuff. The whole time Charleston White was doing that, he did all of that because he really wanted to be those people. He wanted to be a Lil Von. He wanted to be a Lil Woody. He wanted to be those people, but in all essence, he could never be those people. So now he finds himself attempting to be a 50-year-old gangster who gets his kicks off of disrespecting dead children, all in an effort to get paid. Because this is who Charleston White is. He is a master at the art of the grift. And so I say to you, Charleston White, that when you get paid this time, once you rob all the followers and get all the interviews and all of those things for your outlandish antics, once you get paid, I pray that you would give some of that money to this family where this 5-year-old got killed. I pray that you would bring some light and attention to the situation of how innocent children are getting killed in meaningless gang rivals, meaningless gang wars. I pray that you would do what you actually said that you were and be an activist for the children Or will you just continue to be who you have truly shown us that you are? Because the real Charleston White has now stood up. So I say to you all, please like, share, and subscribe. This is the new and the true media, and this is God's holy word. May God bless you and keep you.